Systemic racism, does it actually exist? Or is it actually just a thing that the liberal left and the activists want to keep alive for the sake of making the point of a tiny, tiny minority?
One seems to notice me, isn't it a sin? What a crazy world we live in. How's your father? Brown bread.
Well. The Meghan Markle debacle, murky Meghan and henpecked Harry, that certainly opened a whole can of worms, hasn't it? I've got my own opinions. I think Markle has displayed herself to be an absolutely vile piece of work. Okay, just my opinion. Lots of questions being asked about who has said this, who has said that, and they've ruled out the Queen and Prince Philip, but they've not ruled out anybody else, and they won't say who it is. Actually, I think they won't say who it is because it's stuff that was never said. That's my belief. Again, nobody's going to ever know, I wouldn't have thought. But that's not what this video is about. What has annoyed me a little bit is the way that people have jumped on the bandwagon to try and push this racist agenda again. And I don't know, I think the vast majority of people here in the UK and over the Atlantic there in America are growing increasingly tired of this racist card being played when, look, we know there are racist people in the world. We know there are racist people in this country. But I believe firmly that all of the real evidence says that they are in a tiny, tiny minority, as are the people of colour who have an issue with it. So we've seen this week Piers Morgan has stormed off of Good Morning Britain, whether or not he probably won't be able to go back because obviously the ITV management are basically box tickers. So there are certain things that you are allowed to complain about and certain things that you are not allowed to complain about. And unfortunately, Piers crossed the line. Don't always agree with him. He does have a habit of shouting people down. But he was trying to get a point across. The people that he's had on, Trisha Goddard, and that Alex Beresford. I mean, stick to reading the news, mate. When I looked at you on there this morning, your face tells the whole story. And that dreadful doctor, I can't even pronounce her name, I've got it written down here somewhere, Dr. Shola Mos Shogbamimi. What's it all about? It's, you know, they think they're entitled to just spurt whatever rubbish they like about our royal family without there being any comeback, and want to shut people down for having a question, if you like. I haven't got lots of coloured friends. I've got some, in the same way that I've got some Muslim friends, in the same way that I've got some Indian friends. I don't see, I know it sounds cliched, but I actually don't see colour. What I see is attitude. And if somebody has got a bad attitude, then I'm going to have an issue with them. I couldn't give a monkeys what colour they are. Black, white, green, yellow, pink with purple spots. It makes no odds. If the attitude is wrong, I'm going to have an issue. And I think a lot of other people are too. So Alex claimed, again, that I don't say that in any accusing way, that he's experienced covert and overt racism in lots and lots of different circumstances. I would argue, Alex, that because of your attitude, because you are always looking for a problem, that people deliver it to you. I am a firm advocate that offence is never given, it's taken. And if you choose to take offence to something that isn't intended to be offensive, then that's your problem, not the problem of the person that has made the statement or asked the question. The big issue that you flat point blank refused to understand, because sadly it's what people like you do, You're a typical liberal lefty. Nobody's opinion is of any interest to you, and you will not allow your point of view to be clouded by facts. And what Piers was trying to say to you, and what caused him to, in the end, lose his rag with you, and he done very well. I'd have lost my rag with you 10 minutes earlier, was that there were statements that Markle made that were clearly lies because they weren't backed up by other things that she was saying. And you refused to hear that. You wouldn't listen to that. Instead, you wanted to bang on about how racist this country is. And I'm sorry, mate, but it's not. The problem is we've forgotten what racist means. Enoch Powell actually got it spot on. He was accused of being racist, and he said, I'm not racist, I'm racialist. And they are two different things. And maybe I'm racialist as well, because whoever is here in this country, I don't care about the colour of their skin until they start trying to push it down my throat that for some reason I owe them a debt of some description because I happen to be born white and they happen to not be born white. So a racist is somebody that doesn't have that filter, that looks at somebody and says they're black, therefore they're bad. They're Asian, therefore they are bad. They are Arab, therefore they are bad. All of these silly new mental illnesses that have been invented, the phobias, the xenophobia, homophobia, transphobia, it's ridiculous. It's silly word games by liberals to try to shut down any sort of meaningful argument. The people that I know that are from different countries, from Eastern Europe, from the Caribbean, from Africa, from India, from Pakistan, the people that I know don't actually have an issue with any of it. And I would have said that all of them have probably experienced some sort of racism in the past on a very, very small scale by a few mindless ignoramuses, but they certainly don't experience it on the level that the likes of Trisha Goddard, Shola, I'm not even going to attempt to say her last name, and this Alex claims is the case. And it's because they attract it by their attitude. They call it on because they are expecting either to be treated differently. We already know that. We've got vast amounts of positive discrimination in this country, even worse in America. So they approach every situation expecting to have an issue. If you would just take a step back and look at the vast majority of the people, you're not going to change everyone. The problem that I've got is that we've got a tiny, microscopic minority of people that are screeching and squealing so loud that they are overthrowing, if you like, the voice of reason. And that shouldn't be permitted. And that, I think, is why Piers this morning got up and walked out. And I don't blame him. I really don't blame him. And those of you that doubt it, go, if you can find a past episode of Good Morning Britain, go back about a year and watch that Alex read the weather and look at his face, and then go on to today and look at it again. And like I said in my little story yesterday about Harry and Meghan Markle, when I said that Diana's motives were written all over her face, Alex Beresford's motives were written all over his face. You can see it in his eyes. The eyes don't lie. Likewise with Markle. I didn't watch the interview. I knew it was going to be a gross insult to our royal family. I don't really understand how anybody of sound mind could look at that. Multi-millionaires whinging about how hard done they are to a multi-billionaire television presenter. None of the three of them are worth a carrot as far as I'm concerned. Not interested in anything that they've got to say. The bottom line of it all is that she's playing a game And at the moment, it looks like she's winning. But let's somehow, I don't know how we're going to do it, but somehow we've got to get away from this, the world is racist, that everybody has got a downer on somebody because they've got a different skin colour, because they're from a different culture, because their religion is different. It's not true. The ones that I have a problem with are the ones that have a problem with me. And I think we've seen 3 great examples of that this week in Dr. Shola, Trisha Goddard and Alex Beresford. You all need to take a very long, hard look at yourselves and ask yourselves if you are actually the problem. Because I know lots and lots of wonderful people from different cultures, from different races, who are not like you at all. See you next time.
How's your father?